What's going on, YouTube? I'm back, and today I wanted to bring you guys sort of my new review about the new title in the Call of Duty franchise, Vanguard. Call of Duty Vanguard releasing this year in 2021, just a week ago, maybe less than a week ago, and I've already prestiged once. I've already maxed out a couple of weapons, and I've been grinding the shit out of it. And I thought I would tell you guys how I feel about the game, if you're willing to listen. So, it's been really good off the bat because Modern Warfare 2019 has featured the same engine as this one, which I believe Modern Warfare 2019's game engine is one of the best engines ever made in the history of gaming. I don't want to put that lightly. I really do think that highly of it. The physics of it, the way that you move around the map, it just seems like they really hit the nail on the head there with everything. Movement, physics, the way the guns feel, the way the recoil feels, the way that your camera moves, the way that sliding feels, the way that jumping over objects feels, throwing grenades, the way that grenades bounce, the way that rockets shoot out of your gun. They just really, I would say that engine is like a 10 out of 10. And Modern Warfare 2019, I think, is one of the best, not only Call of Duty's ever made, I think it's one of the best games ever made. And that engine is also the same engine that was used in Call of Duty Warzone. Also one of the best games ever made. The numbers, the revenue speak for itself. It turned into a giant in the gaming industry overnight, rivaling Fortnite. Incredible. Like, I honestly did never see that coming, but the game boasts 80 million players because of that game engine. And there's also a bunch of other factors as well, but the game engine, without a good game engine, a game is doomed from the start. If a game is going to be a fantastic game, an all-time great type of a game, it's going to need to have a great engine that feels very nice when you're playing it, when you're moving around. And luckily, Call of Duty Vanguard features that exact same engine. Now, in regards to the zombies, I don't play zombies, but I've heard very bad things about the camo, very bad things about the game mode itself, but I'm not going to comment on zombies because I've never played it. It's never really been my cup of tea. But the multiplayer in Call of Duty Vanguard has been amazing for me, although I wish you could slide cancel something similar to Modern Warfare 2019. Although it's on the same engine, the developers of Sledgehammer, who have made this Call of Duty, have chosen to do some type of weird delay thing where you can't automatically tactical sprint by canceling a slide. Essentially, you can't slide cancel. That's one of the most fun things to do in Call of Duty, in my opinion, in Warzone, but you know, it's not really game breaking at that point because the movement still feels so fluid once you get used to the rhythm of it. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the things I don't like about it. I do not like how weak the snipers are, and I'm not even a sniper, but the sniping is just atrocious. The aim down sight speed is terrible, but once you get the snipers leveled up to the max, they are very, very good. They will one shot. They have a really good critical hitbox, but getting them to that point, getting to the third barrel, the fourth barrel that you need in order to get that huge damage range buff, that huge bullet velocity buff, it takes a lot of grinding, which I'm completely fine with. And maybe that's a good thing for the game if snipers aren't good, because if snipers are good, the game is very campy. Speaking of camping, you pretty much cannot camp in this Call of Duty because the spawn systems, it is so erratic. It feels so random. There's almost no predicting to be done. It's almost impossible to spawn trap a team unless you have a team that is so overmatched against who you're playing against that everybody can spread out in all the perfect areas to prevent people from spawning. And even then, you will still spawn right in front of enemies. It's almost, and I'm not even kidding when I say this, the game will spawn you in someone's crosshair before it will spawn you in an area where there's no enemies. It's almost impossible to spawn trap because of this. You can have one corner of the map that is completely empty, and you literally cannot spawn there. It will spawn you before it spawns you there. It will spawn you right in front of someone's barrel and you will die instantly. It feels, and I've seen evidence, it's almost random at times. Now, this does offer a sort of, it breaks the game up. You're basically trading some sort of structure, some type of order for chaos, which if there's chaos, there's not going to be as much camping. With a more structured game, a more orderly game, people are going to be more campy. They're not going to move as much. That is basically your two choices here with how a spawn system works. You can have it be really random and it's going to stop people from camping more or less, or it can be very predictable and very consistent, but people are going to be camping a lot more because people are generally going to be able to predict where you're spawning and spawn trap you, which means you don't have to move if you are spawn trapping your opponent. If you are the person getting spawn trapped, it will feel like every single person is camping because you're just trapped for the entire duration of the game. So that's basically, you know, pick your poison. Do you want randomness with the spawns, or do you want orderliness with the spawns? They both have their trade-offs. Randomness definitely isn't as competitive, but it does make for a more chaotic gaming experience. It makes the game feel a lot more run and gun, which is definitely something that the developers of Sledgehammer have gone towards with this game. They want you to be constantly moving. They want you to be constantly looking over your shoulder. Lots of explosions. There's almost no sound horn because you can't even hear footsteps because there's so much chaos going on all of the time. It's kind of unbelievable. The game actually feels like you're in like a war zone, a battlefield. It's non-stop. If you're playing in a lobby that is evenly matched, it's gunfire, explosions, kill streaks for the entire 15 minutes of however long the game lasts. They've really hit the nail on the head there. And I think overall, in regards to how the multiplayer feels, how it functions, how the guns feel, I would say I would give them a 9 out of a 10. Honestly, there's some things that are overpowered, but that's going to happen with Call of Duty. The only reason that I would take a point off is because I don't like how they didn't keep the exact same slide canceling from Modern Warfare 2019. That's all I have to say about that. Once again, multiplayer so far with the maps, the game types, how everything feels in regards to spawns, 9 out of 10. Now I want to talk about something that is terrible about this game, and it really is a phenomenon to me, and I don't even know how it's possible that it can exist in the current state that it does. But it's something I've noticed not only in this game, Call of Duty Vanguard, but I also noticed it in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. You have a bunch of artists lately, and I don't know if it's their fault, but I don't know how it's possible that we can have gun camos and operator skins that are just absolutely awful. If you look at all of the operators in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and you look at all of the operators in Call of Duty Vanguard, they are all terrible. And I mean this objectively, it's not just my opinion. You don't have to be a very smart person to see that the developers for Modern Warfare 2019, not only were they better artists, they also had a higher standard. It seems like these other two gaming studios, when they're making the weapon skins, when they're making the operator skins, I don't know if they're intentionally trying to do a bad job, but I honestly can't even find another explanation for such a terrible job that they do. I can't find one single operator in either of the previous two titles that I like. In Warzone, the Port Nova from Black Ops Cold War, she's the only one that I thought they did a good job on, and even then she's terrible. Her hair looks terrible, and she has like one good skin out of the whole game, and in that skin you can't even see her face. It's behind a helmet. Maybe that's why it's so good, because you can't see how bad of a job that these people do. Fast forward to playing that for a whole year on Black Ops Cold War, they didn't release anything better. They never improved it, and it was just consistent the whole time. Garbage, 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 garbage. No matter what you did, there was no escaping it. Everything that they released was just trash. Sometimes they would hit something that was slightly above average, but we were talking about a company that makes billions of dollars. There is so many artists in the world, artists that even I know personally in my life, that could do a better job than what they delivered. I mean this like 100% objectively. I know people in real life that could do a better job than what they did in Black Ops Cold War, and it's the same thing here in Call of Duty Vanguard. Every single operator that you look at in this game, not only are they ugly physically, like the men in this game, the operators, they're all hideous. They're just ugly looking people. I don't know why, if you were going to make something involving humans, why would you choose to make them ugly? And it has to be deliberate, because every single person in this game is ugly. I'm going to put them on screen so you guys can see them all. They are terrible. Every single one is ugly. Their hair is ugly. Their outfits are ugly. Their facial expressions are ugly. Their teeth, for some reason, are ugly. Everything is terrible about it. The way that the light hits their skin, the way that their light hits their hair, it's absolutely awful. But it doesn't just end there. It also trickles all the way down to the weapon skins. Every single weapon skin in this game is mediocre. There maybe is a handful, maybe you can count it on one hand how many good weapon skins there are in this game. It's truly a phenomenon, because now it's occurred 2 times in a row in Call of Duty, and I could find countless examples of it in other new games as well. You know, they did the same thing with Cortana from the Halo series. All the way up from Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, she was constantly improving. She was getting better looking as the graphic fidelity was improving. And then all of a sudden in Halo 5, they made her look terrible. They made her ugly. They took away her feminine features, her feminine accents. and they just reduced her to like this ugly, square, boxy type. Terrible. Just the, just the death of all things that are nice. I don't know why someone would choose to make a game character ugly. Unless the person is supposed to be ugly, why would you not make them good looking? Nobody wants to look at ugly people. No one. And it's the same thing with the skins in this game. I don't understand how it's possible that they release, I don't even know how many skins are in this game, like 50, 60, and they're all absolutely trash except for maybe 5 of them. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not really that hard if you were the artists who designs the weapon skins. Why is it so difficult for them to not be able to tell what looks good and what looks bad and what looks average? In this sense that I'm talking, average is bad. Below average is disgusting, and it should be unacceptable with how big these studios are, how much money they make. It's absurd. I don't understand how it's possible. And not only that, the hardest to get camos in this game, your gold camo, your diamond camo, and now the last camo, atomic, it looks like puke. It looks like someone ate a bunch of candy corn and drank a bunch of soda and they just puked all over the gun. And now it moves around, it is reactive, but I just don't understand how it's possible that they can actually produce something this bad, that everybody at the gaming studio can see this and no one stops and thinks like, this is kind of garbage. It just blows my mind. How is it even possible that that can actually occur, where every single person at the gaming studio, is it just that they don't have the courage? Is it too safe of an environment for them to tell each other, hey, you know what, man, that's kind of subpar. Maybe you should try something else. Are you not able to say that anymore in these gaming studios? Because what other explanation can it be? I know that the artists at these studios are talented. That's why they work there. They didn't end up there by dumb luck. They are talented artists. And honestly, if you ask them, like on a dark night, just you and them, I think they would agree that for whatever reason, all of the skins and all of the operators are shit. I don't understand how or why they're shit. That's what is interesting to me. If you guys have any theories or hypothesis that can explain this, it really is a phenomenon. Is it because they're afraid to offend each other? Is that really what it is? Because if any of my friends, if we spent months and months and months and months working on something, and they actually at the end of the day handed me these weapon skins, I wouldn't be afraid to tell them, no, these are not good enough. These suck. They all suck. It needs to be redone. And they would love to redo it. These are artists. If you've ever known a visual artist, a tattoo artist, a painter, any type of artist, they love to draw. They can't stop doing it. If you go into their room, they have their doodles everywhere. They draw stuff everywhere they go, on notepads, on their binders, everywhere. They can't stop it. They love to draw. They love to create. And these are the type of people who go in to this type of game design, and they have no issue redoing this. I know for a fact. Why is it that it couldn't have been redone? Or why is it that nobody had, just the courage to say that it has to be redone? I've been thinking about it ever since the game released now, because it's happened 2 titles in a row, and it eludes me. I just don't understand how it can actually be possible. And the last thing that I want to say about Call of Duty Vanguard is just, it's almost insulting to me now that we've reached a place in political correctness where they actually have, the nerve to put on their game relive history. It says that in the menu, by the way. It says relive history, yet they continuously censor all forms of Nazi Germany out of the game. Now, I'm not saying that Nazi Germany in the game has to be, maximized. You can minimize it, but if you are the type of person that values truth and doesn't really like to have anything but objective truth, you probably agree with me that this game is outright offensive at times. The way that they've minimized Nazi Germany so much, not only artistically in the game, they've also gone so far to remove almost countries entirely out of this game. They don't even have the flags of countries in this game. Back in Call of Duty World at War, you actually played for Germany. It didn't call you a Nazi, but, it was implied. You played for the Americans, for the Japanese, and so on. Now, this is a huge issue for me because, like I said, I love objective truth. And when something is just looking you right into your face and it's lying to you, and it's so obvious what they're lying about, I can't ignore it. Maybe it's because I'm autistic. Maybe it's because I don't know if I'm insensitive, but if you don't put Nazis in a World War II game, or you don't even show them at all, which is what they do. They don't even show Nazis. They don't show a swastika, not a burnt, torn swastika. They don't show any of the SS. They don't show any of the Nazi architecture. They don't show anything. They don't even have Germany in the game. They don't have the United States in the game. They don't have the United Kingdom in the game. They don't have Imperial Japan in the game. All of the operators, if you actually read their bios, they actually aren't even fighting for their countries. They are fighting for some type of vanguard, they call it, that is opposing or hunting down the last remnant of Nazi Germany's soldiers who fled and are fleeing after they lost the war. Now, that's fine and all. If that's the storyline that they're going for, it's kind of fresh, honestly. I actually don't hate it. But if you're going to change it and you're going to go for this fresh outlook of something that, you know, didn't really happen, you have to retain at least some kernel of truth, because they've removed all of the countries from World War II. They've removed Nazi Germany from World War II. And now they've gone so far as to take the focal point off of, you know, the Eastern Front, the Western Front, the battle for Europe. They've removed the spotlight from that area to some other area, and they didn't bring anything objectively true from World War II with it. Now, you have to ask yourself, if you're being intellectually honest, if you don't have countries in a World War II game, and if the operators you're playing at don't represent their countries, and all of the things in the campaign aren't going to be centered around a battle for Europe, you know, and North Africa, you know, the Pacific Ocean against Japan. If you're not going to have these things, how can you even call it a World War II game? That might sound like a dramatic statement, or it might sound like I'm being extreme or unreasonable, but seriously, in what sense is this game based off of World War II when we don't have countries, we don't have operators who are fighting for their countries, and we don't have the main antagonist from World War II even shown in this game in any amount? They've censored Nazi Germany so hard that you don't even know who you're fighting against. It's not even clear who the enemy is in this game, because even on the kill feed on the scoreboard in this game, it says my team and it says enemy team. In what sense, I'd like to ask again, is this a World War II game? We aren't fighting as countries, we aren't fighting as operators who represent their countries, and the main antagonist of World War II is censored out of the game beyond recognition. Team A versus Team B. Well, don't even call it a World War II game. Why are you even basing it off World War II? Call it something else, which is fine. It doesn't have to be about World War II. But like I said, maybe I'm autistic, maybe I'm just stubborn. It just seems insulting to me that they expect me to go along with it when it's part of our history. This conflict, World War II, is part of, I mean, I'm Canadian. I have a lot of pride in what happened in World War II. I have a lot of pride in what happened on D-Day, that we won that war. It's a war that we won. Same thing with World War I. If they just removed all of the countries from that conflict, I mean, what is it really? What, like, seriously, what is it? It's no longer World War II. That's just how I feel about it, and I can't get over it. And honestly, it makes me not want to play the campaign at all, because I know as soon as I start it, it's just going to be some absurd story that is 100% fabricated. But it's not even fabricated from pieces of truth. It's also fabricated from fabricated pieces that among a timeline that occurs sometime around World War II occurring. You know, well, it's just a joke to me. It's a joke. It's an intellectual joke. And I don't know, I think that if you are actually able to stomach something like this, you obviously don't care about objective truth, and you don't care about objective history, and you will just get spoon-fed pretty much anything they give you, and you just don't care because you just want to see colors on your screen or something. If you don't follow the countries, and you don't follow the actual, you know, groups or armies that were involved in this conflict, then the only thing left is individuals. And if you want to be interested in an individualistic story about war, that's also fine. I don't mind it. But do you actually think you're going to get some deep, like, personal character development story arc in a Call of Duty game? No, that's not what you're going to get. You know, I'm not against that, this individualistic outlook on it, but in Call of Duty, it needs to be very surface level. And if it's very surface level, you should at least have operators that represent the era that they're from and the conflict that they are supposedly fighting in. The whole thing is a farce. All of it is fake from top to bottom. It's historically inaccurate, and it shouldn't even have any association about World War II, even remotely close to it. It's so insulting to me as a person, not even as a gamer. It's insulting as a person. So this is my thoughts about Call of Duty Vanguard. 9 out of 10 multiplayer, 1 out of 10 aesthetics and skins, and 1 out of 10 for the campaign. And I can't comment on zombies, but I heard that was terrible as well. But luckily, I only care about multiplayer. That is where I'm going to spend 99% of my time on this game. And I would give the multiplayer a 9 out of 10. So that's very fortunate for me. So the game is really good, and I highly recommend it if you like fast-paced FPS games. Thank you so much for watching.